I still remember it as if it happened yesterday, even though more than 60 years have passed. I was just a little girl, sitting on the porch of our small wooden house in Ohio. The summer sun was warm, the kind of warmth that makes children believe the world is safe and steady. At that age, I thought my family was unbreakable, as solid as the oak tree in our backyard. But I was wrong. That morning, I woke up to the sound of voices, my parents whispering in the kitchen. Their voices weren't like they usually were. My mother's tone was sharp, almost trembling, and my father's was low and heavy. I tiptoed closer, holding my worn-out teddy bear, and I heard words that made no sense to me then, but became my life's deepest wound. I can't do this anymore. I need to leave. I froze. The words felt like thunder in a clear sky. My heart pounded, and I clutched my teddy tighter. I peeked around the corner and saw my father standing with his suitcase. His face was pale, his shoulders slumped, as if the weight of the world had pressed him down. My mother's eyes were red, her hands trembling as she tried to hold him back. "What about the children? What about her?" she cried, pointing toward the hallway where I stood, hidden, listening. But my father didn't look in my direction. He just sighed and shook his head. A few minutes later, the front door creaked open. The sound of his footsteps on the porch still echoes in my ears. I ran to the window and watched as he walked down the dirt road, his suitcase swinging at his side, the morning light wrapping around him like a cruel farewell. I pressed my tiny hands against the glass and whispered, "Daddy, wait!" But he never turned around. That day, my childhood ended. The hours after he left were blurry. My mother sat silently at the table, staring at the cold cup of coffee he'd left behind. I wanted to ask where he went, when he would come back, but every time I opened my mouth, the lump in my throat stalked me. All I could do was sit there, staring at the empty chair he used to fill. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. At first, I believed he would return. Every time I heard footsteps on the road, I ran to the window, hoping it was him. I even placed my favorite drawing, a picture of our family, on his chair, thinking he'd see it and remember us when he came back. But the chair stayed empty. The drawing collected dust. Kids at school would talk about their fathers, how they went fishing together, how their dads helped them with homework. I would smile and nod, but inside, I was breaking. I felt different, abandoned, as if a part of me had been stolen. My mother tried to be strong, but I saw the pain in her eyes every night when she thought I was asleep. Sometimes I would hear her quietly crying, her sobs muffled by a pillow. Those nights, I hugged my teddy bear tighter, silently wishing for things to go back to the way they were. Years passed, and slowly I learned to live without him. But the absence never left. On birthdays, I would blow out candles, wishing he would walk through the door. At school plays, I would search the crowd, hoping to see his face. At graduations, at my wedding, even when I held my first child, a part of me longed for him. But he never came back. Now, at 65, when I look back, I realize that the little girl I once was never truly stopped waiting. I carried that wound with me through every stage of life. And though I built a family, though I learned to laugh and to love again, a piece of me always remained on that porch, watching my father walk away. Sometimes I wonder why he left. Was it the weight of responsibility? Was it fear? Or was it simply that he chose a different life over us? I'll never know. He took that truth with him. But here's what I've learned. Absence can shape you as much as presence. My father's leaving made me stronger, more determined to stay when others wanted to go. I promised myself that my children would never feel the emptiness I felt, that they would always know I was there. And yet, even today, when I sit alone in a quiet room, I sometimes close my eyes and see that morning again. The suitcase, the porch, the sunlight, and the little girl whispering to the glass, "Daddy, wait." He never turned back, and I never forgot.